Late afternoon light filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Zara's modest Lagos apartment as she stared at her phone, heart hammering. The screen displayed the bank confirmation. Transfer of 150 million Nigerian nairas successful. Nearly every naira she had painstakingly saved from her interior design gigs over 3 years was gone, wired to cover Keen's crippling debt. Zara pressed her thumb to the home button, hiding the app before he could see. She heard his keys in the lock downstairs. A click, then the soft squeak of the stairwell door. Smoothing the front of her blouse, she plastered on a bright smile and moved to the living room.
Keen.
"Hey, you're home early," she called as he entered, loosening his tie. He looked tired, but relief gleamed in his eyes. "Zara, he started to speak, then hesitated as he noticed her expression. She held up her phone. "You'll see the bank alert in a minute." The transfer went through. Debts cleared. Relief washed across his face. He closed the door behind him and rushed over, enveloping her in a hug. "You did this for me?" His voice was thick with gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you." She leaned back, forcing a serene nod. "We're in this together, right?" He kissed her cheek and turned to the sofa. As Zara sat down beside him, her phone buzzed again. An incoming text from the bank, confirming the transfer. She slid a hand into her pocket, fished it out, and hid the screen when he glanced over. "Dinner's almost ready." She lied gently, standing to tuck a lock of hair behind her ear. His mother's favorite jollof rice recipe was bubbling on the stove. Everything felt normal, warm, safe. But as Zara reached for a dishcloth, muffled voices drifted from the hallway outside the kitchen door. 2 voices, one low and male, the other sharper, more commanding. She paused, linen towel in hand, heart stuttering. "Keen," she heard his mother's voice say, icy and measured. "We can't keep her around after this. Once the loan is paid, her usefulness ends." Before Zara could react, Keen's voice answered, soft but firm. "Mom, don't be cruel. She saved me." The click of the hallway light echoed in the quiet apartment. Zara froze, breath caught in her throat. She swallowed, fingers tightening around the towel. The truth hit her like a bucket of cold water. They had been plotting this all along, using her, then discarding her. That night, as Zara lay in bed with Keen's arm around her, she stared at the ceiling, tears pooling. She could taste the betrayal, and yet she pretended to sleep, because the moment she acknowledged it, everything would shatter. Direct hit that night, she heard muffled voices behind a half-closed door, voices that changed everything. The clock on Zara's nightstand glowed 2:17 a.m. Darkness pressed against her eyelids, but sleep was a distant memory. She lay motionless, listening. From the study came the same voices. She slipped out of bed, wrapping a silk robe around her, and tiptoed down the hallway. The study door was ajar. A sliver of light cut through the gloom, illuminating the polished mahogany floor. Heart slamming, Zara crept closer, every breath shallow. Inside, Mama Beatrice stood by the desk, her silhouette rigid. Keen leaned against a leather chair, arms crossed. Zara's pulse pounded like a drum. She pressed her ear to the wall, mind screaming to step back, but she couldn't. "I've arranged for Ifeoma's introduction next week," Mama Beatrice whispered, fingers tapping the desktop. "She's everything Zara isn't. Well-connected, refined, from old money. By the time summer's over, you'll be ready to send Zara on her way." Keen's laugh was hollow. "Mom, you're ruthless. Zara saved me. How can you?" "Don't pretend you don't understand, Kenechukwu," Mama Beatrice snapped. "This marriage never fit our family standard. Zara's independence is a threat. She has to go." Zara felt bile rise in her throat. Memories of the sacrifices she'd made, late nights redesigning apartments, emptying her savings, flooded back. She served her purpose. Mama Beatrice continued, almost gleefully. "Now it's time for Ifeoma." Keen's sigh was heavy. "I don't like this, but maybe you're right." Anger surged in Zara, hot and bright. Without thinking, she reached for the door handle, but it spun in her hand before she wrenched it back. Her breath hitched. If they heard her. Footsteps approached. Zara slipped back into the shadowed hallway and fled to her bedroom, heart racing. She pressed her back against the door, sliding down until she sat on the floor, robe pooling around her. Tears blurred her vision, but fury blazed beneath. They thought she was ignorant, pliable, but they were wrong. In the dark, Zara closed her eyes and made a vow. She would outsmart them. She would protect herself. Direct hit, she served her purpose, Mama whispered. Now it's time for Iphioma. Morning light slanted through the blinds. Zara lay still, cocooned in white sheets, mind racing. She could feel Keen's silhouette leave the bed. He paused at the door. You okay? He asked softly. Zara summoned her most practiced smile. I'm fine. You? He nodded, uncertain. Got a busy day at work. I left breakfast on the table. She watched him go, then exhaled. She needed a plan, and fast. In the kitchen, she set out plates of akara and pap, heart pounding. A text from her friend, TT, blinked on her phone. Dinner tonight? Need to vent.
Good. Zara needed an ally.
She typed back. Rain check. Family emergency. As she ate, she rehearsed her next move. First, gather proof. Second, strike back. Third, ensure they couldn't touch her savings again. She dressed in a crisp white blouse and navy pencil skirt, hair in a sleek ponytail. At her desk, she booted up her laptop and opened her interior design portfolio. Line by line, she reviewed her earnings, royalties, and contracts, confirming how she could reroute assets to a new company under a pseudonym. Her phone buzzed, an alert that Keen's work meeting had been rescheduled to the same time as her lunch with a prospective client.
Keen would be away. Perfect.
By 10 a.m., she slipped out, calling a cab to the downtown office of StanTrust Bank. Inside, she met with a banker who remembered her, professional, composed. I need to open a holding company account, she explained, voice steady. Under confidential corporate structure. The banker's eyebrows rose. Very well, Ms. Ease. We'll need ID and signatures. Zara produced documents with her maiden name and the name Zara Designs Limited as owner. Within the hour, she'd transferred her remaining liquid assets, royalties, consultation fees, into the new account. Outside the bank, she stared at the city's bustling street. Summoning a breath, she typed a note. Step 1 complete. Back at home that evening, she greeted Keen with the same calm facade. They shared dinner, platters of jollof rice and grilled fish, as if nothing had happened. Something on your mind? He asked, poking at his food. Zara's eyes met his. Just work stuff. You're right, we're a team. He smiled, relief evident. She returned it, though her heart was miles away. Direct hit, she begins quietly tracking their moves. The sun had barely set when EDM bass thumped through the private ballroom of the Ease family estate. Keen's 35th birthday party glittered with champagne towers, floral arches, and a live DJ. Socialites in designer Ankara and European couturiers swirled around the gold-trimmed dance floor. Zara stepped out of the limousine in a charcoal gray sheath dress, diamond studs glinting. She scanned the room. Mama Beatrice stood near a champagne cart, slender glass in hand, face unreadable. Across the crowd, Iphioma Nwoke maneuvered through clusters of guests. Polished, statuesque, she wore a silk burgundy gown that hugged every curve. Her smile was poised, but predatory. Zara's pulse quickened. She reminded herself, act normal. She raised her head high and approached. Guests cheered as Keen emerged from behind a curtain, startled by the roar. He spotted Zara, relief dispersing any birthday stress, and crossed the floor. Happy birthday, she said, wrapping him in a hug. He kissed her temple, eyes shining. Thank you for everything. Behind them, Mama Beatrice tapped Iphioma's shoulder. Iphioma, come meet our lovely wife. Iphioma swept forward, eyes flicking over Zara with thinly veiled curiosity. Zara, such a pleasure. I've heard so much about your design work. She offered a slender hand. Zara took it, nodding. Thank you. I admire your family's philanthropy. It sounded forced even to her ears. Iphioma's lips curved into a practiced smile. I'd love to collaborate one day. At that moment, the DJ dropped the beat for a dance number. Keen moved to the floor, and Zara followed, knowing retaliation waited in the wings. Later, as guests toasted Keen with crystal flutes, Mama Beatrice raised her glass. To new beginnings. She shot a glance at Ifioma. The assembled crowd clinked glasses with genuine warmth, unaware of the betrayal lurking beneath. Zara sipped her champagne, face unreadable. Piece by piece, the puzzle was falling into place. Direct hit Ifioma toasts to new beginnings. The day after the party, Zara sat at her vanity, reviewing photos on her phone. There, at the far edge of the ballroom shot, Mama Beatrice's pursed lips, beside her, Ifioma's triumphant stance. It burned her chest. Her phone rang. The caller ID read Uncle Pascal, her godfather, the quietly powerful financier who'd taken her under his wing after her parents' passing. Zara's fingers trembled as she answered. Uncle Pascal. Zara, my dear, his warm voice rumbled. You haven't called in weeks. I trust everything is all right. She swallowed. I need your help. He paused. Speak freely. Taking a deep breath, Zara recounted the debt transfer, the midnight eavesdropping, the party trap. Pascal listened in silence, his voice never betraying emotion. Finally, he said, They thought you were naive. They underestimated you, and they don't know whose life they just tried to ruin. Can you? Zara's voice shook. I've already set plans in motion, he assured her. I'll handle the legal side, discreetly freeze any funds linked to the fraud. And I'll introduce a new investor at your next business showcase, someone who respects talent, not entitlement. Tears welled in Zara's eyes. Thank you. Rest now, Pascal said kindly. Tomorrow we fight back. After the call, Zara stood by her office window, watching the sun dip below the Lagos skyline. A fierce calm settled in her. She had allies, resources, and a clear path forward. Her world hadn't shattered. It was reshaping itself around her strength. Directed, he tells her, they don't know whose life they just tried to ruin. The Monday after her conversation with Uncle Pascal, Zara arrived at her home office before dawn. The Lagos skyline was barely visible through the dusty windows, but she was already alert, fueled by determination and dark roast coffee. On her desk lay a stack of financial statements she'd downloaded the night before, bank records, royalty reports, and contract PDFs for every project she'd completed in the last 2 years. Her eyes scanned line after line until she spotted it, a series of transfers from Zara Designs Limited into an account under Keen's name, each for amounts corresponding exactly to her royalty payments. The dates matched the release of her viral apartment makeovers on social media. Why would Mom do this? She murmured, lips pressed together. She dialed her accountant, Chukwu, whose number flashed on the screen. After 2 rings. Chukwu, voice-wary Zara. It's early, everything okay? Zara. Chukwu, I need your help. I've found transactions moving my royalties into Keen's personal account. Someone set it up to look like I gifted the money, Mom, maybe. Chukwu, sighing, that's bank fraud. We can trace IP addresses and paper trails, but you'll need proof. Zara. Gather every document, the contract signatures, IP logs, authorization codes. I want to know who initiated each transfer. She hung up and paced her living room. It felt too big for one person's betrayal. Every cushion, every piece of decor she designed now felt like evidence of her vulnerability. At 9 a.m., a cab dropped her at the bank's corporate services entrance. Inside, she met with Ms. Adesawa, the compliance officer. Ms. Adesawa, flip chart in hand, Ms. Ease, you suspect unauthorized debits. Zara, holding printed statements, yes. These royalty deposits belong to Zara Designs, not Keen Ease personally. I need a full audit and the names tied to the digital signatures. Ms. Adesawa scrutinized the papers, her expression professional but sympathetic. We'll start a trace immediately. Expect preliminary results by Friday. Back in her cab, Zara exhaled. She called Keen's office number. Receptionist. Mr. Ease is in a client meeting. Can I take a message? Zara, steady voice. Please tell him I'd like to review our joint finances tomorrow morning. She wanted him to feel the tremor of uncertainty she now carried. That evening, over steaming bowls of egusi soup, Keen glanced at her. Everything's okay? Zara nodded, spoon halfway to her lips. Just work stuff. I've got an early appointment. He took her hand. I appreciate your support. I know this debt thing was rough. Her heart twisted at the lie, but she smiled. Support would soon take a new form, exposing the fraud and turning the tables. Direct Hit, it was meant to look like a gift, but who pulled the strings behind the scenes? Under the fluorescent lights of her makeshift home boardroom, Zara convened her small inner circle, Chukwu the accountant, TT the legal intern, and Uncle Pascal via video call. A whiteboard bore the heading, Operation Phoenix, in bold red marker. Zara, pointing to the board, Step 1. Isolate assets. Step 2. Restructure ownership. Step 3. Counterstrike. Chukwu tapped his pen. Your holding company is ready, Phoenix Interiors Limited. The corporate veil is established, with you as the sole beneficiary. All existing contracts have been assigned to Phoenix. TT. I've drafted NDAs and non-compete clauses. Anyone who tries to claim you needs to sign legally binding agreements. Uncle Pascal's face filled the laptop screen, eyes sharp behind gold-rimmed glasses. Good. Now, freeze any suspicious accounts flagged by the bank. And prepare to launch your new brand identity next week. Zara felt a surge of empowerment. Once everything's under Phoenix, Keen and his mother can't touch a dime. The next morning, she called a press liaison and scheduled a soft launch announcement. Zara's revolutionary modular interiors now under Phoenix Interiors, where creativity meets integrity. Social media teasers went live at noon, each post carefully branded to highlight her independence. The tagline, Built by Zara. Defined by you. Meanwhile, she changed all passwords, updated email servers, and transferred her design portfolio to a new domain. At 6 p.m., she logged into her original business account one last time, watched the balance drop as Phoenix's new account reflected the full sum. That night, she dreamed of embers rising into a golden phoenix, a symbol of rebirth. She woke at 2:22 a.m., adrenaline coursing. Mama Beatrice's face floated behind her eyelids, smug and oblivious. She sent Keen a calendar invite for the next morning, labeled Financial Review. And then she slept for the first time in days, secure in her fortress of renewed control. Direct Hit, she starts building a secret empire they can never seize. Thursday evening, Keen and his mother arrived at the Ivory Lounge, one of Lagos's most exclusive rooftop restaurants. The skyline glittered. Valet parked Keen's black SUV. He stepped out, straightened his blazer, and pulled his wallet to pay for valet, but the card reader beeped angrily. Confusion flickered across his face. He tried again, declined. Then he rummaged for a second card, declined again. Inside, Mama Beatrice rose from her seat at a corner table. What's wrong, dear? Keen's cheeks flushed. He waved down a waiter. Check on my account. Something's off. Moments later, the waiter returned, head bowed. I'm sorry, sir. The card has no available funds. A slow smile crept across Mama Beatrice's lips. She turned to Keen. Darling, perhaps you forgot to transfer your salary this month. He shot her a panicked look. I paid my mortgage. How can my account be empty? Meanwhile, Zara dined alone at a small cafe across the street, disguised in sunglasses and a cashmere sweater. She sipped herbal tea, scrolling news alerts. A headline caught her eye. Exclusive. Phoenix Interiors officially launches. Founder cements female-led empire. She closed her phone, satisfied. As she walked out, she spotted Keen through the window, red-faced and fumbling with his wallet. Returning home, Keen burst into their apartment, where Zara greeted him with perfect calm. Keen voice tight, your card, my card. Everything's been frozen? Zara, pouring tea. I advised you to keep separate accounts. Keen, what did you do? Zara, setting down cups. I moved my shares to Phoenix. I advised the bank of potential fraud. Your personal account was linked to those illegal transfers. He sank onto the sofa. Mom, Zara met his gaze. Call her and ask. He reached for his phone, trembling. For the first time, he realized the cost of underestimating her resolve. Direct hit, that's impossible, he panics. The account was full. The following Saturday, Zara received an anonymous tip. Mama Beatrice had invited Keen and Ifeoma's family for tea at the Ease estate, under the guise of family bonding. Zara suspected a clandestine matchmaking scheme to publicly elevate Ifeoma's status. That afternoon, she dressed in all black, no jewelry, and arrived unannounced at the estate's wrought iron gate. She flashed her ID at the security post. Zara E's visitor. The guard hesitated, but stepped aside. Through manicured hedges, she saw Mama Beatrice greeting Ifeoma's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Nwoke, on the marble terrace. Crystal tea set gleamed in the sun. Trays of petit fours lined the table. Ifeoma stood poised, her smile leveled to perfection. Zara exhaled, smoothing her dress, and walked forward. Heads turned.
Keen rose, startled.
Keen standing. Zara? What? How did you? Mama Beatrice, clasping her hands. Zara, dear, we were just connecting families. Mrs. Nwoke, courtesy smile. Of course. We invited Mrs. E's to join. Zara set her bag down and joined the circle, cool as a rainforest breeze. She sat, folding her hands. Mama Beatrice, I thought it would be nice for you to meet Ifeoma's parents, considering the future. A hush fell. Ifeoma's eyes flicked between Zara and her mother as Mrs. Nwoke poured tea. Zara accepted a cup, her voice steady. Mrs. Nwoke, thank you for having me. I admire your family's philanthropic work in Abuja. Mrs. Nwoke's polite smile didn't waver. But Mr. Nwoke set down his cup. Mr. Nwoke, I've reviewed some of Zara's designs online. Remarkable creativity. I'd love to explore a partnership for our new development project. Gasps rippled around the terrace. Ifeoma's jaw tightened. Mama Beatrice's imperious facade cracked. Zara raised her teacup in a quiet salute. I'd be honored. As Ifeoma's parents exchanged impressed glances with Zara's, the matchmaking tea devolved into Zara's triumph. She'd hijacked their scheme, turning it into her own boardroom. Direct hit. Zara watches from across the street and rewrites the script. That evening, Zara found an envelope on her doorstep. Heavy cream cardstock, gold embossing, and no return address. Inside, an invitation to a mystery investor gala hosted at the prestigious Lagos Grand Convention Center next Thursday at 7 p.m. No names, only the phrase, your presence is requested. Come and meet opportunity. She showed it to Pascal over video call. His grin was triumphant. Perfect timing. They'll all be there. Keen, Mama Beatrice, Ifeoma, and the rest of their social circle. And you'll be unveiling Phoenix's first major partnership. The days leading up were a whirlwind. Zara designed her own gown in her workshop, a midnight blue sheath with gold filigree accents. She rehearsed a brief speech. She coordinated media coverage under strict embargo. On the night of the gala, the convention center's grand chandelier glittered like a constellation. A crimson carpet led to an arched entrance. Press flashed cameras, capturing silhouettes of Lagos's elite. Zara descended the staircase. Every step a statement. Her gown caught the light. Cameras pivoted. She paused before the entrance, inhaled, and stepped through. Inside, champagne flowed in crystal coupes. Pearl-white drapes billowed. On the stage, a towering sculpture of intertwined phoenix wings flanked a lectern draped in velvet. Zara made her way to the back, where Keen and Mama Beatrice stood with reserved smiles. Ifeoma hovered nearby, eyes narrowed. At precisely 8 p.m., the lights dimmed. A hush fell. A recorded voice, Uncle Pascal's, echoed. Voiceover. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the dawn of a new era. Spotlights illuminated Zara as she ascended the stage. She paused, looked over the assembled crowd, then delivered her speech with quiet authority. Zara into the mic, thank you all for coming. Phoenix Interiors isn't just a company, it's a testament to resilience, creativity, and the power of self-belief. Tonight, I'm proud to announce our partnership with Nwoke Developments, bringing innovative, sustainable design to Lagos and beyond. Murmurs rippled. On the screen behind her looped images of sleek living spaces, vibrant public art, and most poignantly, her own signature on a contract with Mr. Nwoke. Keen's mouth hung open. Mama Beatrice's facade cracked. Ifeoma's lips quivered. Zara felt no triumph in their shock, only the serene satisfaction of destiny fulfilled. Afterward, as guests mingled and cameras snapped her with Mr. Nwoke, Zara slipped away to the balcony. The night air was cool. The city lights stretched below. Her phone buzzed. Congratulations. You just rewrote your future. It was Pascal. She smiled, tilting her head back. Betrayal had forged her wings, and now she would soar. Direct hit everyone attends for connections, but Zara arrives as the real boss. Under the soft glow of crystal chandeliers at the Lagos Grand Convention Center's afterparty, guests lingered over champagne and canapes. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Who is the mystery investor behind Phoenix Interiors? Mama Beatrice hovered by the VIP lounge entrance, her immaculate gellies skewed with anticipation. Keen paced nearby, phone in hand, anxiety etched in his features. Suddenly, the live band quieted, and the MC's voice cut through the murmurs. Ladies and gentlemen, a special guest has arrived. A hush fell as Zara appeared in the doorway, wrapped in a cascading emerald green silk gown, her entrance as breathtaking as a debutante's first dance. Flashbulbs popped. She paused at the top of the steps, every eye drawn to her. Her heels clicked on the marble floor as she descended with measured grace. At the bottom, Uncle Pascal rose from a VIP table and nodded, a silent signal passing between them. The room exhaled in collective awe. Mama Beatrice's face flickered between pride and shock. Keen's jaw dropped so low his cravat trembled. Ifeoma shrank into the background, her poised smile faltering. Zara approached the center table, where Nwoke Developments board waited, and extended her hand to Mr. Nwoke. Thank you for believing in Phoenix, she said, voice calm but commanding. Camera swiveled, capturing the handshake that sealed a multi-million Naira partnership. As guests erupted into applause, Zara locked eyes with Keen, no longer the dependent wife, but the driving force behind Lagos's hottest design revolution. Direct hit Keen's jaw drops when her name is announced. The next morning's headlines were merciless. Interior designer becomes investor. E's matriarch left fuming. Mama Beatrice, accustomed to controlling every narrative, felt the sting of public humiliation. She stormed into the E's family boardroom, where the Phoenix Nwoke contract hung prominently on a projector screen, demanding answers. Zara, she spat, voice sharp as shattered glass. How dare you usurp my family's legacy? The assembled board members, polished financiers in bespoke suits, shifted uncomfortably. Zara stood at the head of the table, dossier in hand. On the contrary, mother, I upheld it. Your clandestine embezzlement risked everything. Phoenix Interiors rescues reputations, not destroys them. Screens behind her flicked through transaction logs and legal affidavits documenting Mama Beatrice's attempts to siphon Zara's royalties. Mama Beatrice's lips trembled. You set me up, she hissed, slapping a hand on the table so hard the water glasses rattled. Yes, Zara replied evenly, but only to protect my life's work. She clicked a remote. The final slide displayed a court summons for fraud charges and freeze orders on Mama's assets. The board exchanged looks of relief and newfound respect for Zara's transparency, qualities conspicuously absent in Mama Beatrice. Humiliated, she rose, hand fluttering to her collar. You'll regret this, she snarled, before sweeping from the room. Direct hit, the woman you tried to erase owns this building, Zara tells the stunned board. That afternoon, Zara returned to her downtown studio loft. Mid-renovation renderings of a boutique hotel lined the walls. As she reviewed fabric samples, her phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number, Keen's. He met her outside, rain beginning to fall in heavy sheets. His clothes were soaked, his expression contrite. Zara, please, he began, voice cracking. I was blind. I'm so sorry. Zara crossed her arms, heels clicking on the pavement. Save it. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small voice recorder. I want you to hear this. He pressed play. From the device crackled his own voice, recorded weeks earlier, admitting his mother's plan. Once she's drained, we'll replace her. You know how Mama thinks. Even through the grime of rain, his eyes met hers with genuine remorse. I never wanted to betray you, he said, swallowing. I was afraid of disappointing her. Zara's chest tightened. Betrayal had cut deep, but honesty, however late, still meant something. She watched him, the city lights reflecting in puddles at his feet. Finally, she said softly, I'll consider your apology when you testify against her. She pressed rec on her own phone, her calm tone belying the fury beneath. Keen bowed his head, understanding the price of redemption. Direct hit, he doesn't know she's recording every word. That evening, in the hush of her private study, Zara uploaded 2 packages, one to her lawyers and one to Lagos's top gossip blogger, at Society Spongy. The first contained notarized copies of bank audits, confessions, and legal notices. The second was a curated hot tip with redacted names, but explicit enough to spark viral outrage. Interior designer uncovers family embezzlement in shocking twist. Minutes later, her phone erupted. Lawyer's text. Case opened. Freeze orders filed. Blogger DM. Dropping tomorrow at 9 a.m. exclusive. Zara leaned back, allowing herself a rare smile. She'd weaponized transparency. The law on one side, public opinion on the other. At dawn, as Lagos stirred, notifications pinged relentlessly. Social media feeds filled with speculation and support. Zara is a queen. Justice at last. Mama Beatrice exposed. Headlines blazed across news sites. Even national TV ran the story on prime time. In her lounge, Zara poured herself a cup of ginger tea. Through the window, the city hummed with renewed energy. She had transformed betrayal into a platform for herself and countless women who'd been silenced. Direct hit and to a viral YouTube gossip blogger, evidence that could topple empires. Later that day, Zara watched a live stream of Ifeoma's press conference at a 5-star hotel. The room was packed with cameras, flashbulbs pulsed like heartbeat monitors. Ifeoma, immaculate in a cream-lace dress, stepped to the podium with forced composure. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I am withdrawing from any association with the Ease family, she announced, voice trembling. I cannot be part of a partnership built on lies and deceit. Reporters shouted questions. Will you still pursue Nwoke projects? Do you regret this alliance? She raised a gloved hand. My focus now is my own integrity. Zara clicked off the live stream, satisfied. Ifeoma's departure was the final domino. Mama Beatrice's disgrace, Keen's contrition, Ifeoma's withdrawal. Each piece fell perfectly into place. That evening, Zara hosted a small gathering at Phoenix headquarters. Uncle Pascal, Chukwu, TT, and Mr. Nwoke toasted her resilience. Glasses clinked. For the first time in months, Zara felt unburdened, not by vengeance, but by justice served. As Lagos lights glittered beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows, Zara raised her glass. To rebirth. Direct hit, I won't be part of this circus. Ifeoma declares, exiting under a storm of flashbulbs. A week after Ifeoma's exit, Zara arrived at Keen's corporate headquarters at 9 a.m. sharp. The glass-fronted lobby gleamed under fluorescent lights. In her arms, she carried a sleek leather portfolio stamped with the Phoenix crest. Behind her trailed Pascal's legal team, briefcases in hand. Keen was finishing a board presentation when the receptionist intercepted him. Mr. Ease, your wife is here to see you. His forehead creased as he excused himself. He found Zara waiting in the hallway, poised in a tailored suit that mirrored his own. Only hers fit like armor. Zara smiled coolly. Good morning, Keen. I hope the board meeting went well. She handed him the portfolio. He flicked it open. Inside were thick sheaves of paperwork, divorce petitions, asset division agreements, and a cover letter from Pascal's firm. Keen's fingers trembled as he paged through. Keen, voice barely audible. Zara, why? Zara, softly, because freedom deserves ceremony. Behind them, curious staff peeked from glass offices. Zara turned to them, voice clear and steady. I serve the family. Now I serve myself. She snapped the portfolio shut, offered Keen a final nod, and walked away, heels clicking on marble, every step an assertion of independence. Direct hit, consider this freedom, not punishment. That afternoon, Mama Beatrice returned to the E's guest house to find movers loading her antique furniture onto a flatbed truck. A uniformed representative of Regal Properties held up a laminated eviction notice. Representative, firm, ma'am. Under court order, you must vacate the premises by sundown. Her rosewood cane thudded against the marble steps as she approached, eyes blazing. This must be a mistake. Mover, apologetic. The summons is clear, ma'am. From the doorway, Zara appeared in a simple cashmere wrap. She met her mother-in-law's glare with serene composure. Zara, I offered to find you alternative lodging. You declined. Mama Beatrice, shrieking, you can't do this to your own mother. Zara, she's not my mother. With one last look, Mama Beatrice turned away, clutching a single leather purse. As the movers drove off, the estate's black iron gates swung shut behind them. Directed her things are already on the driveway. 2 months later, Zara stood on a raised platform in front of a gleaming high-rise under construction in Victoria Island. Beside her, a banner read Zara Group, Reinventing Urban Living. Journalists, investors, and construction crews gathered in anticipation. She tapped the microphone. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter, not just for me, but for every woman who dares to build her own legacy. Flashbulbs danced as she cut the ceremonial ribbon. Afterward, she toured the site with her executive team. Chief architect, these green rooftops will reduce energy costs by 40%. Zara nodding excellent. And I want community art spaces on every floor, celebrate local talent. A contractor approached. Ms. Ease, the foundation stones are set. We're on schedule. Zara smiled, hands on her hips. Then let's make history. Behind her, the crane lifted steel beams skyward, each clang a testament to her vision. Direct hit her story trends online as she built while they betrayed. One morning, a gilded envelope arrived at Phoenix headquarters. The calligraphed return read, Mrs. Ifeoman Woke. Inside lay an invitation to Ifeoma's wedding to a prominent tycoon in Dubai. The date, 3 weeks away. Zara studied it, memories of the matchmaking tea flooding back. She traced the elegant script with her fingertip, then folded the card decisively. That evening over video chat with Titi. Titi, are you going? Zara, smiling. I RSVP'd no. Titi, laughing, good. You don't need a circus to prove your worth. In her home office, Zara placed the invitation into a paper shredder. As the card dissolved into strips, she whispered, guests may change, and so do I. Direct hit, she smiles, drops it in the shredder. Dawn broke over Zara's childhood village in the outskirts of Lagos. With Uncle Pascal at her side, she knelt by the small garden behind her late parents' house. Together, they planted marigolds and hibiscus, flowers she chose for their resilience. Uncle Pascal, your parents would be proud. Zara, placing a seedling, they taught me strength. She brushed soil from her hands and stood, looking out at the red dirt road where she once skipped home from school. The turmoil of betrayal felt like a distant storm. Uncle Pascal, smiling, what's next? Zara, quietly, growth. Hand in hand, they walked toward the sunrise, petals glowing like embers in the morning light. Zara's voice carried on the wind. I didn't lose a husband. I lost a leech.
The end.